With nuclear weapons, aircraft carriers, thousands of aircraft and tanks, and millions of men, the world's most powerful militaries get a lot of attention. But what about the smallest and the weakest? These countries maintain only the smallest forces to keep law and order and help out with potential disasters. As you'll see in most cases, these countries don't want or need strong armies because the only threat of invasion they face is from tourists. Panama. This Central American country is best known for its canal, which allows ships to travel between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. It does, however, also have one of the world's smallest military forces. With just 12,000 men, Panama's force is pretty small, but it gets even weaker when you learn that these 12,000 troops aren't regular or even reservists. No, this nation's force is 100% paramilitary, which is a blend of police, border security, and Coast Guard forces. Mauritius. Located in the Indian Ocean, Mauritius is an island nation about 2,000 kilometers from the African continent. Considering its small size and population of around 1.25 million people, it's unsurprising that this country qualifies as having one of the smallest forces in the world. With no nearby neighbors to threaten it and no ambitions to expand its borders, Mauritius has no regular or even reserve military and entrusts its defense to around 2,500 paramilitary troops. Gambia. We bet most people don't even know where this tiny African country is located. Gambia can be found on Africa's western coast, geographically surrounded by Senegal. In terms of military forces, the Gambia stands out a bit among entries here because it has an army, air force, and navy, though a very small one. Along with several armored vehicles and patrol boats and one combat aircraft, this African nation has a total force of around 1,100 men with 400 military police. Antigua and Barbuda. Given its popularity as a tourist destination, you probably wouldn't expect this small Caribbean island group to have much of a military force, and you would be right. However, should you ever decide to trade in your swimsuit for military fatigues and invade Antigua and Barbuda, then you should be prepared to take on their defense force. Known as the Royal Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force, it has around 245 personnel, of which 170 are active force members. Primarily tasked with maintaining internal security, it also helps guard the coast against drug smuggling. Barbados. When you think of this Caribbean island, what probably comes to mind are beautiful beaches and fantastic resorts, not necessarily a military force. With a small population and a very small land area, Barbados couldn't support a powerful military even if it wanted to. Barbados is protected by a defense force made up of roughly 1,000 troops divided between the regular and reserve force. These soldiers and sailors are responsible for maintaining internal security and patrolling the coast to stop any illegal activity, such as smuggling. Monaco. The Principality of Monaco is a tiny city-state located on the French Riviera on the Mediterranean coast. Known for its monarchy, casinos, and yearly Formula One races, Monaco is one of those places that never comes up when discussing military power. There's a good reason for that. With only 255 personnel, its military is quite tiny. In addition to border and coastal patrolling, these forces are responsible for search and rescue as well as policing services within the country. Vanuatu. In the South Pacific, over 1,500 kilometers from Australia, sits the exotic island nation of Vanuatu. Made up of dozens of small islands and with a population of just 250,000, Vanuatu is a popular tourist destination for those seeking tropical weather and scuba diving. Today, the government sees no need for a massive military force and relies on a few hundred paramilitary troops and special police. This small force ensures the security of the island and, as you'd expect, helps out in times of emergency or natural disasters. Tonga. This Pacific island nation's forces may be small, but they are active well outside their borders. What do we mean? Located in the South Pacific, Tonga's military force number around 500 men in total. These are divided among various branches, including a navy with a few patrol boats and an air force which operates one patrol plane. In addition to all the domestic responsibilities you'd expect, Tonga sent troops to serve in Iraq and also sent half its force to Afghanistan in 2011. Iceland. When you think of NATO, you probably don't think of its members as having the weakest military force in the world. How about no military force? That's right, Iceland is a member of NATO, yet has no real military force to contribute to the alliance. There's no active or reserve army, just around 130 people in its coast guard to patrol its shores. In fact, over the past years, Iceland's defense has been shared among other NATO nations, with each rotating in men and equipment for a set period of time. Andorra. This tiny landlocked state can be found in Europe, right between Spain and France. Less than 500 square kilometers in size, and with a population of under 100,000, you'd naturally expect this micronation of having a very small military. Well, it actually has no forces that could even remotely be called a military. Not even paramilitary forces like some of the other countries listed here. Sure, there are soldiers at official functions, but these are purely ceremonial, and internal order is maintained by the country's police force. Well, folks, it looks like it's time to go take over some smaller countries. Who's with us? Nobody? All right. Well, now that you're here, why don't you go ahead, leave us a comment, and check out some other videos we have to offer you over The Richest. We promise they're a really good time. Thanks, and bye-bye.